Yahoo, Prof here, and even though I have this cute kitten on my lap, yeah, and she thinks we need to be done for the night, which we probably should, we're going to continue, right, Paisley? Yeah? Alright, definitely don't need this headlamp on my head for the video we're making now. Well, I shouldn't have even needed for the previous one. Go and check it out if you guys haven't. I got 2 more cubes to store my pens in, because this guy got full. We just got in the new Anzo tactile turn. Side click, sort of, it's more like a back click. Side of the pen click, I guess, rather than this way side. Brass. Really cool, but that actually, look, it needs a whole new cube. So, picked up another one. We just did a video on those. But in that video, I teased. I know. Where are you going, Peter? Oh, I squished you. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have squished you. Yeah. I teased another video for those of you out there that are EDC. Now, I should have opened this one first, as this package should have helped open the previous one up back there. We're going to use the letter opener here as well. Okay. Shouldn't be everything. Oh, that's everything. So we got some tactical keychains here. We got the packing slip. Heavy discount on this. And I don't know if these screws are going to be the correct length, because I believe what's in here is actually a different dimension. I will have to ask around and find out. So, what we have, and we can go over this real quick, is we have... I gotta put this away now, though. Yeah, we use the letter open the letter, but what we truly need is this guy. Tactical Keychains. TUKK HD. How do you know it's an HD? It's got that little hook there for cutting rope, maybe some thin stranded wire. What do you want to call that? On strapping in some cases. Stuff like that, right? What we have here is what they call, this is, or the previous version of this, is the TUKK XL. Here, we'll grab my, oh, okay, I got this one here. Here's the ES, technically that's the Elite series. It's got that little inlay there. This would be probably like the only one I'd be willing to part with. But ignoring that, if you notice, it does not have a cutout for the rope or the wire or the cable, right? Offset clip. This is the original with the Brizzers. This is like a tapered smooth clip. I don't know if this will be the clip that stays on this guy, because this is the only clip when I ordered this that they had available. But just clip stonewash, and I believe those screws are actually the incorrect length. Since I bought a bunch of these, I may reach out to them and be like, hey, can you toss in a couple new screws? Well, this is the new TK stash. And I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the name, personally. I thought since this guy is the TUKK XL, right, that this should be the TUKK XXL. Maybe my naming's too basic. I was like, oh, well, you know, oh, am I missing the obvious name here? Sort of thing, right? And there you can see TK Stash, what I call the TUKK XXL. Now, why they call it the Stash is because of those two grooves right there, and we'll get to that. I'll have to go get a number of blades and show that off. Now, how did I get this brand new, by the way, there's a 5% comeback 5 coupon. I think there's others out on the web as well. How did I get this brand new knife for only $67.50 when all of these, this guy, this is my, I would say, not my daily driver, my desk knife. My daily driver is actually the yellow one. This is the one I use the most at home. You can see by the wear. See by the, you know, it's my go-to with the tapered. Love it. This is the one we always used to use for a little bit classy. We're using that for the Pokemon unboxings, right? Neither of those are anywhere near this cheap. I think even the base level ones, it might have been $60. Well, we'll open this up and find out. This is something that I was actually considering buying in the first place. And I don't know if they didn't sell as well as they thought they would, or once they got through the initial batch, if... Oh, it just broke itself out of there. That when they got through their initial batch, if nobody else was interested. Now, this is the TK slide, I think is what they call this. Hey, King Hardy. What's up, boyo? And I can demonstrate it. Let me put back. Let me grab. Here is a kind of matching. It's not the Splatter one. TUKK Jr. TUKK Jr. No, I didn't flip it over actually. All right. Now imagine this is the yellow one, the Splatter one. TUKK XL. TUKK HD. Right. And then the last item on here, and this is probably why I think these don't sell that well. You can use it for other stuff. No, it's been leaking. I thought that wasn't supposed to do that. Lovely. That's a space pen refill. I didn't know they leaked like that. Going again. Wipe that off. Well, you can see by the ink. This is the TK ink. Screws has one in the Kickstarter green color. Mine I got in, I want to say, brushed titanium. I don't think this was a mirror finish one. Might have just been milled. It's not like a tumbled. I would have preferred a tumbled. But there you go. So that's what that's for. Do I have any huge need or use for it? Nah, not all. Over at some of my workbenches though, it'd be nice because I definitely have a junior at both of them and a XL. In fact, this one was over at one of them, and I have a junior and I have an XL. So, and because Tactile does make stuff, and Brad over there do make stuff very similarly, you can take, this is the longer one. This is the one for the Uniball refill that you do have to cut it down. He did make a, I'm getting tired here. A Space Pen refill version of that, and that does also fit in here. This one fits fine, but yeah, it is designed for the TK ink. I don't know if that's sold as well as they, you'd have to talk to them, but I have a feeling that the reason why these trays, I would prefer just a tray that's wide open, maybe with this cork in, right? But wide open. Or even better is on the TK Tweak. There's a Tweak tray. Yeah, one of these feet is not right. Hold on. That foot sticking up. Just a little excess on the foot there. There's still a little bit. A really precise pair of scissors would actually be great for that. Thank you, Arthur. Yeah, I'm not kidding you, dude. If you guys are wondering, for doing round things, I have little scissors that do this. What the heck just fell out of my shoe? That's in a plug or an insert from something. The bottom of a laptop. It's one of those things I gotta keep until I figure out what the fuck it's for. Probably was meant to be someplace, but it ended up in my shoe. That's the little sliver I cut off. It was around the edge of that, so it couldn't fit. Basically, because this is compressing in the hole. Now look, flush. Because this is made off Brad's designs, and his stuff is very, very precise. So if you have that little overmold on that little foot of that much, once it presses in, it's not going to fit correctly. Yeah, something like that little scissors is great. In fact, I knew I had my curved one is even better. That's the sort of thing that before you put away, because it's not a non-stick scissors, make sure it doesn't have goop on it. Otherwise, the next time you go and use it, it's going to be all fuckered up. So this tray, which is now flat perfectly, look at that, much better. Will fit all these guys you know. And if you didn't have the clips on them, it would fit them straight up instead. I may not use the pen one. I may put a screwdriver there instead. My TK tweak is back here. This is my tweak tray. I never got the full bit set for it. I think it's a Weeha bit set. Yeah, this is like a smaller sub of... Oddly, I have some that are engraved, that actually have an engraving, and then some are like, I don't know if that's laser etched. Better not be pad print because it'll wear right off. But this is a tweak tray, right? And these magnets, I would, and I've told Brad that before. Apparently, it has to be much shallower to have the magnets in than when you don't, like this. Now this with either magnets or this corking, I could probably have more use out of than this. But I really think they were trying to move those last trays and or get pre-orders in for the eventually that tweak tray will have a better home. Probably up in the office, as I already have plenty of sets down here for precision screwdriver sets. Thing is it basically, if you bought one of these, they had a bunch of overstock old stuff, right? If you bought one of these, you got a very, very heavy discount on one of these. Sadly, no discount on the clip. And if I recall, the reason why the screws can't be too long is because how the blades go in. And I may need to reach out to Tactical Keychains. And I'm surprised that this came first, because I bought some other ones that you'll see that were kind of said, hey, the whole point that we're doing these without a finish is so we can ship them sooner. And that was already like 3-4 months after I had pre-ordered this. So with this guy, hey, they no longer have the sticker over, which is good, because the sticker actually wrecked. If you watch my, I think they're up, they might not be though, but I have a whole set of videos about the smooth orange. If you notice, there's not all this milling on the back. That's why it's called the smooth variant of the TUKK HD. I had my second version of this. My first one came rusty somehow. My second one came perfect, except they applied the sticker that holds this button in place. And then there's like a sticker that goes where the blade is, right? Because you can't ship it with a blade. That held the button in place. Peeled that sticker off. It peeled the entire top coat of the Cerakote off. Not cool, right? So, you know, that's what I've got now. But they shipped it without the sticker. Kind of like how I've had issues with tactile turn. And eventually they're like, oh, since you're changing the refill out right away, which I will, you know, this guy comes with a Pilot G2. I'll switch it to some form of a Uniball more than likely. This one's got a Muji refill in it right now. So they actually shipped one because we couldn't get the tip off of one. It actually like friction welded itself. They shipped it like that, not even down to the O-ring, because they knew I would just be swapping the refill out. Which, hey, you know, why make the same mistake again? So there you go. That is the TUKK stash, they call it. I call it the TUKK XXL. Maybe they wanted to make it the stash so that people knew it actually wasn't just this. It's not just this. You're like, what? What do you mean? You're showing it off right now. Am I? The reason there's 2 lines there is in the... And wait, is that the same as this end? Yes, you can put 2 blades in on that end, on the back side. so that finally, if you're actually doing, also this gives you way more leverage. Like if you're actually breaking down boxes, having something in your hand like this, right, that you can fit in your whole palm. Not that I don't like this. I love this. I've run and still run this daily, or previously on my outside of my belt. Now in my little like coin or watch pocket, right? It just slips right in there. You see me futzing around with this all the time. I always have it with me. I can break down card with it, but when it comes to like doing like big stuff like multiply, corrugate, as the guys in the factory would say, that's not cardboard, it's corrugate. A bigger knife like this that maybe is like a true box cutter. This actually has true box cutter length to it. Could make life a lot easier. This feels really good in hand too. This new mechanism, if you notice, it's got the square instead of the circle. Very positive. The one thing that I want to see is if this one does not get along with the Fiskars blades because they have a hole in the middle. I want to see if they work well with this guy. And I think I should have some around here that have. Alright, I should have some around here. I have Bob the Box Cutter. Oh, I'm sorry, King Arthur. King Arthur, I stepped on you. I didn't see you there, my dude. I'm sorry. Alright, both Bob and the Palmer have, you know, and basically what this is for is just doing like that sort of thing. Or if you got screws, you're taking apart something, right? So the Palmer, one of my issues is if you don't push it and held it down and push it all the way forward, it doesn't lock. In between, like if you just go like this, that's unlocked, blade comes out. So if the blade comes out there, does it go in? Okay, it goes in there, obviously. It's in. See, here's where our issue was before. Where this magnet is bang on, and you can see with that, it is bang on that hole. So what ended up happening is if you go like that, it doesn't fully release. And then it's bang on the hole again, right? And you can't retract it all the way. However, does not like locking in. Okay, that's the Fiskars from the Palmer. Still displayed again, because I know it's relatively new and clean. I should show you guys to get the blade in. This is popped up. You just flick it under there. You push this back. It'll like that, and you just push, pull, push, pull. See how much more consistent that is with not having that hole. And then to get it out, you just push down, pull it out. All right, so I got that. Now let's try again with the Fiskars blade. We were doing okay, but and I did get that on some of the newer ones where like it'll kind of work, but you get these inconsistent. Like, see, it's not all the way. You see how that's not popped up? That's not all the way back. So you actually need to push it forward and then draw it back further. Now it's all the way back. Now you can go all the way out. Nah, it went too far. Then you push down, pull it back. Not all the way back. Okay, push, out. Perfect. In. Not locked back all the way. Not locked back all the way. See how it just slides when you go like that? That is the exact issue. And then what ends up happening because of that hole is that And this actually happened to my brass one. I don't know if it would happen to this with the Cerakote, but on the brass guy, because the brass is softer than this is whatever, steel with carbide on it, right? It took me a while to work back in once I decided, like, hey, this thing's it's actually the blade's fault. I just thought it was the knife's fault for blocking, like, hanging in a certain spot with my, it's not brass, copper, with my copper guy, right? As you can see, though, no. Bang on now. I just had to work it a whole bunch. Look at that. Bang on every time. So it's those Fiskars blades. Because of where that hole is, it just does not play nicely. Because it like catches it. So I've figured it out. I gotta go and grab, let's go and grab 3 of these DeWalt carbides, which they were hard to get. I prefer them over the Stanley. They should be the same, should come out of the same factory. But there have been tests where the DeWalt has done better where the Stanley's been in the same tests. So I've been trying to get those, but I don't know that the DeWalt carbide is available anymore. I bought a pack. And they weren't even like that much more or anything. Like maybe they were like $1 more a pack, right? And the Stanleys are at most 2. Like, still under 20 bucks for a pack of 50. So I got a bunch. Right here. See? Carbide edge. And then I have this old microfiber that I use for cleaning them off, because might be able to tell by the label, they come oiled. See it leaking right there? And that makes it not, you don't want the oil in your knife. If you have something that like actively holds the blade, like a lock or a screw, leave the oil on there for all I care. But on this, where you're sliding that blade, you actually want the friction between this button here and the actual blade itself, right? So what I do, and you can use a tissue or a paper towel. I have a bunch of these because I use them the first time for glasses, phone wipes, that sort of stuff, right? And then from there, because they're never the same as the first time, then they get demoted. And that one, I think, is with going through a number of things. So push this down, push one out. See, it's all greasy. And I just hold it bang in the middle. Take your, I even cut off the old tag there. Now realizing back, I think that's how I determined new ones still had the tag on it, or newer ones. I think I stopped doing that for a while ago though. But yeah, the microfiber works by far the best to get this all off. There you go. No more oil. Pop that in there. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom. There we go. Now we need 2 more, and we can actually figure out how the ass end of this works. Pop that down. Slide one out. Hold it by the middle. And rubber down. Now, to be truthful, if you know you'll have a place to clean this, in the ass end, you may want to leave these with the oil on. I'm choosing not to, right? But depending on how long they're going to be in there, it might be wise to leave the oil on there. And maybe I'll make that decision in the future. So this has to be opposite this. So Oh, this top one has to be opposite that, so it can't be this way because of the tips. The back side one, bottom, which I assume is going to land on first. Yep, that goes that way. Right? No. How do you get it out? You pull this blade out, I was told. You take this and you slide it out. Works. So this one on the bottom should go the same way as the top blade, I'm guessing. Yep. Oh, no, that one, that's stuck to the top. Okay. And let's get ourselves another blade. Click it down. Slide it out. Don't click it down now. You'll regret that. You only want to click it down when you want to get it out, because otherwise that's what's holding them like in that pack. This is technically this says 50, right? This package can actually hold 100. No idea where I'm at right there. However many that is still in there. Don't be shy. There are a lot of people out there that constantly like just buy a pack of blades and use them. Okay. Use this guy to push it in. There we go. So those are now in there. They don't. People were worried that you could like flick it out or something. Nope. So now that's why they call it the stash, is because now not only that was something that Brad, when he just still designed this for tactical keychains, and he gets a certain part of the initial batch. TK logo's this way now at the bottom. So he gets a certain percentage of the initial batch is how they work that out. So I made sure to, and they had yellow. I don't have a yellow splash in my normal knives. I just have yellow, like this yellow without the splash. So this is gonna be my daily driver of this. You know, keep it in the side of the back pocket, right, with the clip on there once I get the correct clip, which should be this. I was gonna grab my orange knife, which I already put away. I have a freaking knife in my hand right here. I feel like he tightened up that mechanism. That thing bang on every time. Yeah, you can tell it's a new blade. I'll have to look this up, because this is just a standard clip stonewash. I'm like 99% sure that it needs different screws. I think we need this guy, 0.0 something inch. Let's go to tactical keychains clip. Ball, sure. Clips, stash. Ugh. Item comes packaged separately from your TUKK. 2 options: TUKK clips, TUKK ink clips, different size screws. Fits all TUKK XL, Junior, TK ink options. That doesn't have the yeah, we have the 0.005 inch hex. They forgot to put that on there. QR code. We only have the stonewash left. They do have stash. So which length screws is the stash? Do we have any stashes on here? Here's what I'm saying too, like here, the Junior 65. A standard HD honeycomb is 110. So ain't no way. Oh, they have an ink ES? I didn't realize that. 150 though for a pen I don't use that often. Not awesome. That orange though, that's pretty. Ooh, pretty. TK stash. There you go. Oh, you now know which ones are coming in. Does not come or clip. Add on stash. Stash HD XL Junior Flip ink are the clip, but may require different screws. May require different screws. Do they require different screws? May require different screws. Quarter-inch version for new XL. This isn't the XL though. This is the stash. There you go. They had, if you guys are wondering, they had TK stash, black anodize, pink splatter, yellow splatter. That's one you just saw. Then they have brass. The whole point of the brass was supposedly that because your pre-order, they're expected to come off machines weekly, first come first serve. I was pretty early on that, and yes, it does still say that for the. And here, this is how I got that really good deal. This multi-drop mystery clip, mystery plus matching. They want 120 for that, low stock, but there was a like here, yellow with splatter, WTF right up there. I did get that. Yellow splatter slide tray. This guy right there is how I did that. And they had a thing going where if you bought that guy, you got a discount and you got like 50% off your TK stash, I think, or something like that. Dope. That's why I did it. So I think the only way we know if this causes an issue or not is by doing it, because they say may cause an issue. May need different length screws. Just fucking tell me. Not this may bullshit. I do wish I could have a black clip. And if they get black clips in stock, I will partake. I have a black clip on my daily driver. Alright, so I think that this is going to be too long, and I will have to ask them to send me screws, because when I ordered this, here's how I can show this. That goes through. You see that? Very hard to see with this lighting. I don't know if you can tell, but that goes through there. Right? See? Too long. Only by a little freaking bit, but too long. So what it's going to do is it's going to raise up that inner blade, more than likely, and cause issues with holding it internally. Not good. And it's because on the HD, or the XL for that matter, I mean, that fits better. It used to be all wiggly on the older ones. All sorts of wiggle wobbly. Yeah. Okay, so take this blade out. Push. Oh, does it exactly fit? Flashlight. Remember how I said I had to take the headlamp off because, oh, we won't need it. I gotta put down the sharp blades. Put the sharp blades away from me. I guess either they knew or it's the same size because I can see in there and there's a little bit of rubbing around there, right? But showing that's gonna be like nigh on impossible. But they don't protrude. You can see all the way through the dang thing though, which is interesting. This thing badly needs a black clip. And I prefer the smooth clips or even the tapered smooth like you saw in my... doesn't look too bad, I guess. Because this is silver. The buttons always used to be titanium, but I don't believe because they just had a huge glut of them. I don't believe on this, since they're making them fresh, that they still are. Yep, so you just take the old blade, use the tip of it to push out a blade off the ass end. That's just me trying to flick it out. Those do not move. Brad did try doing 3 blades in here. 3 blades technically fit in its butt. However, the 3rd blade would become like a shuriken. You'd take this thing and go, foop, and it would just, foop, 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 ping. You know, chop somebody's head off along the way or something. So that's why I did 2, because you can stick 1 to one side, 1 to the other side effectively. Oh, how did that one come out? Did I have these lined up wrong? Yes. See, it does matter. And I just poked myself. Pretty damn good at that, too. Oh, do they both have to be the same direction? That's a thing. Hold on. So if these are this way, these can't because the tip hits it. That's what we're having an issue with, right? So that means they both may have to be this way. So you don't fucking stab yourself like I did. Then what I did is I took this blade and I pushed it in and I pushed it in. Okay, I guess I will warn you, if you do flick it like that, they can still come out. See, I'm hitting that blade because it's retracted. If you go this way, see, you're hitting tip to tip. And I could get it, I bet. Yep. Now I could push it in because that blade is sticking out. These need to go. Oh, and I should say this is flippable. You can, if I recall correctly. No, the design is flippable. They make a lefty version because there's no notch and everything, and there's no hole for the lanyard, right? So, you can't flip it. I mean, you might be able to if you disassemble it. But at least without, like, taking it apart, you're not going to be flipping it. But yes, I did have this issue of when I put this out and I pulled this back, that's when the one poked me. Was because it was going tip to tip here. These have to be the other way. Like here, I'll illustrate this way. This is in here like this, right? I'll use this to get a blade out. I don't know which. There you go, that one. All right, so if this is in here like this, that has to be in there like that. Hopefully that makes sense. And I've been using this guy to just get it seated in there. Oh, gotta get that forward. I have to clean out whatever I did by hand with that other blade. Luckily, brand new fresh blade, nothing on it. So it does become very ass heavy because there's 2 blades in there versus 1 plus a clip in this case. Yeah. So check it out if you guys liked my, TUKK HD, TUKK XL videos, and you wanted something bigger, or you didn't like those and your complaint was always, hey, I don't have enough leverage with this guy, right? Most things I do, I actually like having this little small, I can manipulate it very, very well. But yes, if you're breaking down like a full-on, like when we break down TV boxes, refrigerator boxes, having this greater leverage here, that, like, because you can pull as you push. That kind of comes in pew-pews as well. You counter with your pinky on the other hand, and how tight that pulls can do, because you're not only pushing forward, you're pulling up. Same thing here. It's all about leverage. On this one, you really can only push down, right, like this. And sometimes I would even put my hand on it like that to get more power over it, right, because you don't have much, the long lever to it. Whereas this, you can both, pull up as you push down because you got more in your, it feels like a more substantial tool. So for some of you who always thought that this guy was too small, well, now I got that but bigger. Just make sure you put your blades in the ass the opposite way you put the blades in the tip. Otherwise you get pokered on the hand somewhere over there. I think right there. Very sharp, by the way. Brand new DeWalt carbide blades. Very, very sharp. Yeah, they had no problem with skin. Yeah, it does make it ass heavy, especially with that clip on there. I could see some of you not wanting to run the clip. They also have a lanyard loop. I swear I bought a lanyard loop and a clip, but that might have been for the brass ones. In that case, I will definitely have to get a longer screw, right? I mean, I can test it, but only so much screw even bites into this. It is apparently, I don't know if, don't quote me on this. Like if you guys order your TK stash, get the TK stash clip that comes with the correct screws. I was not able to order that because it's only TUKK Junior XL HD at the time, because this was like the super ultra pre-order edition, was this pink, the yellow, and the anodized black. So they didn't have like an option for the stash on its own, right? It just was not a thing you could order. And I was like, oh, well, I'll ask him for the correct screw, you know, once it ships. Then it took forever. And then I got, they did the thing. I'm not gonna say I hate is a strong word. I dislike when places put in a shipping code and then don't, like, that's just like to pacify the selling system, you know, like your eBay or your PayPal or whatever, right? And PayPal's 90 days, so that's probably why they did that. Because it has been a hot minute. But I dislike when I see the code and if it doesn't go, like my handling time is I think 3 days, which is the maximum that eBay allows, right? And that's what I do that early. You know, next day is usually my turnaround. Keep in mind I do work a different shift than the average person usually. Yeah, like multiple weeks though of having a tracking code. Like I wasn't even checking it because after like a week I was like, oh well, this is just sitting there till they get around to it. And I'm very surprised to see this coming first, because the whole point of the brass ones was they didn't require finish, and basically as they came off the hopper, they'd ship them out. Had I known this was coming as soon as it was, which is still, you know, I wouldn't say late, probably late actually off their original thing. That kind of happens with how tactical keychains does their stuff, though. That's almost to be assumed. So that's why when I saw brass, like, oh, these are coming off weekly, yada yada yada, I'm like, oh, all right, jump on it, let's go. So bit bummed there. Happy my EDC one came in. Like I said, I prefer a black clip with smooth, like that doesn't have those guys on them. But because this guy's silver, that silver doesn't look too bad. The screws are very hidden, being that this is a black splatter, which is kind of cool. So would you guys go with this? If you have an HD or an XL, would you upgrade to the, what I want to call the TUKK XXL, right? But what they call the stash, because it's got blades in its butt. Or here's another thing that I thought up. I've seen them online before, and this is something I might suggest now, like once they finally get these rolled out, is it's not all that uncommon to have a standard blade on this side, right? And then a hook blade on this side for carpet. That is a thing a lot of people do. And in that case, you wouldn't put that there, but you would actually have two separate mechanisms, right, going opposite directions. And that seems very possible because they literally have room for blades here. They could just double up on the mechanisms. And like I said, a lot of the most common ways, a standard utility blade on one side and a hook blade for doing carpet on the other side. You could also run a standard utility blade and a serrated, or a hook blade and a serrated. They got all these sorts of crazy blades now too. So that might be my suggestion, is make it double-ended, basically. Like that basically looks like the pokey end, right? So why not make it double pokey, you know? If you made these titanium or aluminum, you could anodize them red blue for left right, you know, or player 1, player 2, that sort of thing. I don't know. Let me know what you think of my idea there. Just seeing this in person with it's I could see why like it's so flippable. Now it's actually off balance, so you're not going to you know, with the clip and the two things back here, it is very ass heavy, right? Like, yeah, I have kind of for a long time wanted a longer version of this, because some I you've probably seen in a number of my videos where I'm pushing down with this on it, and then I actually like go like this to get more force on it. Whereas, as I said, with something like this, because you're not only pushing but you're pulling with this side, you can get a lot more. And you don't always need force; you need control. Like, you know, this is controllable in a different way. Like, you know, like you can do stuff with this that's almost equivalent to just using the utility blade itself, except it's way safer, way concealed, and you do have a little bit of something around it, right? It's not like holding just the blade directly. I think this is like the ultimate version of the Gerber EAB, like your everyday carry. Like, I actually got my mom one of these now in pink. She keeps it on her keys. Used it enough now that the blade was rusty, and she's like, "Oh, you always give me crap when my blades are like messed up, like, you know, especially when they're dull, because she'll still use them." And I'm like, "Come on, like, it's not like we don't have blades around here, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, you're gonna." I went to go use it with her sister or something, and she realized it was a little rusty. And she's like, "Oh, it's gonna give me crap about this." Indeed. You know, here, this feels in hand a lot like the wedge. Right? A little bit shorter. But yeah, especially where you grip it. Look at that. Very similar. Because, like, basically up to here, you don't want to be touching. See, it says hot. Yes. I'll confirm that for you. You know, it's a similar length between those two sets of screws there. So, and the wedge is a very good size. I think they got this. I don't want to say it's as small as it could be with the blades going both directions, but pretty much. The nice thing that I did find too is even when you're using this blade to manipulate the blades in the butt, right, there is a hard stop that you push them into, right? But yeah, I'd kind of be interested in the dual end one. I don't know that I would necessarily. I would probably buy one because I like their products and to support them. But I don't know that I would have use for a double-ended one. I'm pretty much just, now I don't do a lot of carpet. Depends for some of you guys that actually use these. If you do, my recommendation would be the black anodized. That is by far always the most durable, the smoothest feeling. Because often the brass and the copper ones, like, because they're significantly softer than the blades themselves. They have their own wear issues. I don't know if you saw already me actuating this on the first blade, or when I was trying that Fiskars, which is like a very sharp, very hard blade. I was taking some of the Cerakote on the inside off. You know, you're gonna see less wear on it than, you know, like you would on this guy on the hard edges, right there, like that. All right. The one thing that does look like that he reverted, because this was a change that Tactical Keychains made, not Brad. You see how it's flush again. Okay, now we have grooves that specifically go in a direction, and it's a wider button, which I think is I actually like that it's square because it's very directional, right? But one vast improvement that they made on starting with the TUKK HD that was then backported to the TUKK XLs based on the HD is this raised button. Right, and not just because you can do that, but it's just so much easier to actuate with the raised button. Oh, by the way, if you guys, often you'll see me using this, and I go like this, and I use it, if you're putting any real force behind these, or this guy, slide that button back. Because now you can put your hand right there and you will not be depressing the blade, right? And unlocking it. Slide that back up, back down. So up, slide it back, right? Think of that as like a safety, right? If you're going to be doing any real work, slide it backwards, right there. Then when you want to put it back, push it down, because that basically slides the blade off and then back, forward, off, slide that back. That's kind of like the safety. Now, most of the time when I use it, I'm careful, but I have done it before on one of these where I'm really putting some effort in, and you push down there, and what happens is you push the blade down, and then you go to cut, and it pulls the blade out. So that is why I'm telling you, if you're doing anything that's not just like cutting open a box or doing a basic cut, slide that back, because then you're not pressing on it. It's kind of in a locked away position back there. And you just slide it forward. This has little grooves on it too. By no means as, like, I would be interested in, I make a lot of these, and they have in the past, right? So that's pretty down pat. Tactile Turn does that with their bolts. The bolt still uses the old style clip, right? And the dimensions make it so that you cannot fit a uniball in there, a uniball refill, which are slightly longer than the Pilot G2s from Tactile Turn. They won't redo it because this is like a known working design, right? However, when they made the standard length side click, that takes a uniball refill no problem. Here's the other interesting thing. When they made the slim bolt, this takes a uniball refill no problem as well, because they were newer designs. And I don't even know if they did it intentionally, but they could go back and whatever dimensional change changed in those, they could then apply to the original bolt. But like I said, it's the only one of theirs that they use this older clip on. Normally they'd have, like, that's their Gen 2, or their old one had 2 screws, right? The slim bolts used to have a clip like this bolt. But now the only one that still have that is, well, actually technically there's the switch now. You can get the switch in this clip. And I think this clip is a better, deeper pocket carry. But the milled style clip like this does hold up better. But, you know, so some of those features can get ported back and forth, but like the what do you want to say, the compatibility for the refills didn't. Same thing here is, if they make newer ones of these, I personally think the square with the angled button like that, you know, with the horizontal lines, because it keeps you going in, whereas this can like rotate. This button can spin, right? Because it's a circle, it's a button. Now, they apparently have like a whack ton of those buttons, so I don't know that we'll see the, you know, TUKK HDV2 or something. It'd just be interesting, I think, to see that. Because also, because this is longer, they put the TK logo this way on here rather than that way. So maybe an updated one where it's got the square. You know, you kind of update it. Have the square and then the rotated TK logo. Maybe at that point too, if they can get rid of the lanyard loop here, and it can be flippable, right? So like update it to the same thing. Depends how popular this is, right? But I could see them doing that, because that would be an easy change. You basically just take this design and shrink it down to this guy. So you can see, though, to fit the 2 blades in the ass end, that is thicker. See that? They're only manipulating one side of the, so it's less milling, I'm guessing. That might be because of the slots that are required back here as well. And the screws for this, so they don't impede in on the blades. But see here, they mill both sides. And that's actually how the titanium one got messed up, is they didn't what do you want to say, like titanium stock is thicker. See, it's almost the thickness of the stash. So what happened is when they milled down into it, they got a bigger gap. That's why there's like so much play in this damn one, is because the stock of titanium, and this happens from metal to metal, titanium stock was different than the normal aluminum that they're used to working with. And I've proven that if you use the titanium one daily, you'll get used to it. But definitely, still to this day, the best if you get an HD or an XL or anything like that. The one you like, I get coppers because my original one was the copper one. I found out was actually the blade. Titanium one, they only did a single run of it. They were not cheap. Not even the Cerakotes, the anodize, and you might see a video on that with the stash. So if you guys are interested in EDC items like this, please hit that like and that subscribe, and we'll hopefully see you in future videos. Please pardon the wacky white balance. The recent Google Pixel updates made it so that that's wrong and that's right. There you go. Intriguing. See you next one. Peace.